What's up, guys? The artist is back here with a second episode of Unnecessary Commentary. And today's movie is the movie that I was watching high that inspired this whole little project. So if I actually have four of these, four or five of these put away like I said I would do before I'd start releasing them, like I'm Prince with a vault or something, then, there you go. There's the backstory on this. Um, we're watching a movie called Back to the Beach with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon and a whole cast of others here. So, yeah, I will talk more about this movie once it gets started. But like I've said in the last episode, if you are watching along with us, or me, I should say, if you're watching along with me, you, this is kind of hard to find on DVD. There was two separate DVD releases for it, one by itself and one with the Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. And there is a weird DVD release. Somehow it was released from the Warner Archive, which is weird because it's a Paramount movie. Um, so yeah, we're gonna sit back and watch this the last quote unquote beach blanket movie, and I'll talk more about that. So if you are watching along, we are about to hit play right now. And here we go. We got the parental PG rating. Well, 80s PG. So there are a couple little things there. But like I said, I was high one night and I was like, you know what? I was looking on movies, to watch, and Back to the Beach came up. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is on YouTube, And I watched it and I loved it as much as the first day I saw it because this came out for the 75th anniversary. Wow. Um, so when I first discovered this as like on HBO Family, does that channel even still exist? HBO Family, TWA playing, baby. And again, you can watch along with me, or you can just listen to this if you like. Um, and here we go. We get their son Annette and Frankie, and that's the first thing I need to explain. Frankie Avalon is not referred to one time as Frankie in this movie. Is referred to the Big Kahuna or the Big Cowabunga, whatever, because apparently legally they could not refer to him as Frankie because in the Beach Blanket Bingo movies, which this is kind of like, a spin off from, they couldn't call him Frankie because it was a legal thing, even though that's his real name. I don't know. Now, I'll be honest, I never saw one of these so called Beach Blanket Bingo. Oh, look at the Pepsi can in his hand. I love that Pepsi can design with the lines and everything. There we go. We get a little clip of Annette on. How did they get the clip from Annette from Disney? I guess Disney was more laid back then. It was like, you want to use that clip? Go ahead. We'll let you use it and everything, you know. But here we go. We got the late Annette Funicello, who apparently discovered she had the multiple sclerosis while filming this movie because apparently there were long hours on this movie. So she um, uh, discovered that. But oh yeah, and I forgot to mention unnecessary commentary is a little thing that I like to do here where I'm not with a live crowd. I'm not having to worry about numbers and how many people are here and everything. So this is something I like to do. And I love that Frankie became like a used car salesman. I think that's a great little. We get to see like the life after Beach Blanket Bingo movies and um, a Mickey Mouse Club for Annette or Annette, I should say. Um, so, like I said, I discovered this on HBO Family, and I just found myself watching it, and I was like, "This is actually really cool" because I was into Gilligan's Island at the time too, and uh, you know that makes sense later for the movie. And there's actually just one scene that just happens just to happen, and that's bizarre. Um, Plus, we see the table right there, and we see Lori Loughlin from Full House fame. And I'm always just like, who did she pay to get into this movie? Zing. And I have to admit, I know like when she was on Mickey Mouse Club, she was such a, an icon and everything like that. But I gotta admit, in this movie, Annette Funicello, she's pretty fucking cute. I'm not gonna lie, man. She has a couple moments where I'm just like, okay, Annette, get it. And we see Annette's um, obsession with Skippy peanut butter, but I think that was only in here because she did multiple commercials for Skippy peanut butter back in the day here. I love this. She's making a lunch, and she's like, "You're afraid of lunch?" And he's like, "Yeah, because I know it's fucking peanut butter." You know, which is such a great gag for this movie. You know, I would have liked to have seen more of the home life instead of them going back to the beach. I would have liked to have seen like another movie where like we examine the home life. You know, but like everything kind of buttons itself up at the end. I love Annette's delivery there is like, I believe it is. This movie's fucking great, dude. Oh my god. Mm. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys who directed this. Let's see who directed Back to the Beach here. I actually can't read it on the back because of the colors and everything, but let's pull up the old IMDb here. And the director was Lindell Hobbs, and it's written by James Cormack and 6 others. So, oh boy. Okay. But we'll give it to James Cormack here. You know? Yeah, Ned still has that, like, 50s poofy hair, you know, for, like, I think this came out, what, 86, I believe? I believe is the year this came out. Let's see, 86, I want to say. 87, I was close. You know? Um, so, now they're about to already head out. So I will give this movie credit on one thing, man. You get where they're at right now, and then we just get right to it, man. Yeah, they waste no time getting back to the beach, man. We see a little bit of the home life, and then that's it, man. We're there, man. You know, we get a little. See, look at all the. See, I don't understand why there's Spam, Campbell's, and Heinz ketchup. I don't know if she ever did anything for them. I just know the Skippy peanut butter thing. See, look at her net there, wearing a little fucking nightie and shit, you know. And I love the fourth wall break. I love the fourth wall narration, you know. But TWA, man, that if that doesn't bring you back when you see a movie there, that or fucking Pan Am, you know what I'm saying? Although I never flew Pan Am, I will say that. You know, I was excited when that TV show came out, Pan Am. I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be a good show, and this show bored me to tears. We need a show on TWA now. That would be. They yell like, "You're the big kawawa," you know. So like nobody ever gets it right except for like one person, you know. In this running gag of like the accident he had while surfing, and he's so obsessed with work. But then like the second he gets to the beach, man, it all just goes away, you know. You know. But like, yeah, there's supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be like a inspired by type of movie, you know, like the last like hurrah for beach blanket movies and everything. Again, I've never seen a single one. I've heard of them. I never watched any of them. And apparently, Annette couldn't be whatever her character's name in the beach movies. I know Dee Dee, I think her name was. So they just went with Annette, you know. Um, but we just passed it. But there's a moment where like he goes to hit his son, and Annette's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just fixing his hat. I'm just fixing his hat." Yeah. Does the expression of wrapping the mouth mean anything? See, Frankie's so good at this. You know, I would have liked to have seen him do like more comedies like this, where he's just like, I'm just fixing his hat. I'm just fixing, it was actually pretty good. You know, maybe this was a little over the top, where he's just like my little baby, my baby, but everybody throwing up on the plane. I think was a nice. And here we go. We get thrown into the opening credits here. Paramount Pictures. See right there, big Paramount. I don't understand that companies do like multi deals and everything, but I find it really weird that this landed in the Warner Archive. You know, but Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello. You know, let's see who else is in this bad boy here. Let's see. Look at that Muscle Beach right there. I will say it does have some kicking tunes here, right at the beginning here, man. Whatever this tune is, I kind of like it. I dig it. I think it's called Back to the Beach, as a matter of fact. There we go, Lori Loughlin. She had to pay to get into this movie. Tommy Hinkley, I have no idea. Damian Slade, or Demian Slade, I think is what it said. Joe Holland. I think Demian Slade, if I'm not mistaken, is the buffed up surfer who comes in later. Just visually, he's kind of funny. John Calvin, a couple names. It says David Bowie, but I don't think it's that David Bowie. And Connie Stevens. Connie Stevens would go on to be in a couple episodes of one of my favorite shows, Titus. And this guy right here, he's more of a background guy. This I wouldn't even say biker. He's part of a surfer gang, but like he has a spiked hair and everything, and like he just stands in the background, but he sticks out so much that like you can't help but like notice him. And like there's a leader of this gang and everything, and like see, I love he's already corrupted the baby and everything. He's great. I think he has like a sound in the movie. He doesn't have a line. He has a sound. Because fun fact, there's actually pay differences in movies where if you make a sound compared to, words. Fun fact. I learned about that watching Jeepers Creepers. If you make like a guttural sound, like you get paid one amount, but if you actually have speaking lines, you get paid another amount. It's really weird. Okay, 3 writers are credited here. Yeah, it says 3 of them here. Screenplay by these 3 people. Peter King, yeah, the guy that I named, not even mentioned. So that's weird. Oh, Frank Mancuso Jr. produced this. Frank Mancuso Jr. Produced a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. Here we go. We got Lyndall Hobbs, the director here, and here comes a great little cameo that probably would, if he were still alive, would probably not fly today. But we see Bobby here. He's upset that they're in Los Angeles and haven't seen any movie star. And here we go, Mr. O.J. Simpson. And Annette has no idea who the fuck he is. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then as he takes off, see Bobby's all fucking jazzed to see him and everything, but then he eats shit. Boom. And that's it. That's his whole cameo. And Frankie steps on his hand. There we go. You gotta, despite what he did, again, you have to separate the art from the artist and everything. But like, you have to admit, like when O.J. Simpson did a few movies, man, he made the best of his time and everything. His short role and Naked Gun and like his little cameo here and everything. You gotta admit, he did okay. Can you imagine what the Terminator would have looked like with O.J. Simpson? I think that would have been fucking insane. I fucking love that delivery from Annette. Frank, he's just like, "Yeah, doesn't it smell kind of funny?" And Annette's just like, "Yeah, it smells like the ocean." I don't know. It had like a very Jennifer Coolidge, before Jennifer Coolidge type of thing, like type of delivery to it. I love that it's like probably 70 fuck degrees here in Los Angeles, and Bobby is still rocking a leather hat, leather jacket, in the back seat of this convertible. You know, maybe when the car goes, the wind blows, but still, hats off to him because like it fucking man, it gets above like 75, and I'm just like screw this, you know. You want me to conjugate that for you? Do you know what conjugate means? See, Frankie and Bobby, like the father and son here, are just fucking great when they just go at each other. I think that's what's really great about this. And what's weird is because like Bobby does kind of lash out at his mom a little bit, but like he lashes out more at Frankie and everything, which is great because like you can tell like deep down like he cares about his mom. Like he'll lash out at her, but deep down he cares about her. But like there's that part of him that just rebels against his dad so much, you know. Um, and that's what makes the dynamic so good. Like and Frankie knows he's rebelling against them and everything, but like that's what just makes him snap. See, and here's a question I have about this movie. Homeboy comes in here and starts complaining to Lori Loughlin about like the soap on the rope on the floor, and he's like, "Oh, you just leave it there and it gets grosser and grosser." Well, obviously, he has seen this process where like the soap on the rope just gets getting nastier and nastier. Why didn't he just pick it up? I guess he was just trying to prove a point. I guess, but you know, you gotta admit, young Lori Loughlin, man. Or I wouldn't even say young Lori Loughlin. Lori Loughlin looks the same here as she does in like Full House, you know. And I think even like still today, she still looks the same even after prison, you know. Or is she still in? I don't even know. Is Lori Loughlin still in prison for the whole college scandal and shit? But I will say, you know, age has done her nicely. See, and it's weird because like the last episode I recorded of this, I watched Blast from the Past, and like I watched it in widescreen, and there was a lot of grain. And that movie was made in '99. This was made in '87, and there was like way less grain on this movie for DVD than Blast from the Past was. You know. All right, they're about to show up. And again, if it's like, oh, he's just telling us the fucking movie, I'm saying it just in case you are one of the people who are not watching along with the movie with me. Um, so I'm trying to like keep you up to date on what's happening with the movie, especially if you've never seen it. You know. Um, but Frankie and Annette are about to pull up at the daughter's house. But and here's something else. Like she heard the message and right away looked out the window. Like, how did she know right away that they were like right outside the door? Like she heard the message on the answer machine, like, "Oh, my parents are coming." Yet she knew right away that, like, "Oh fuck, they might be on the pier on their way here." Like, I don't know, it was a weird thing, you know. Like everything fucking annoys Frankie. Like she lives on a pier. She lives above a bait shop. You know, like look at that old school fucking box of rice checks in the background. Look at that shit. Hadn't changed that much. There's a little bit of a change in design, but not a lot. You know. He's got his ear pressed to the door and shit. Fucking Bobby has some great one-liners and stuff in here. It's incredible. You know. It took me a long time to realize that Lori Loughlin was actually in this movie. Like when I first saw it, I was like, she looks familiar because I grew up watching Full House. Now I can't watch Full House. It's not because of the prison thing. It's because like I can deal with some corn. You know, corny shit. I love this. He's using his son's head to beat the door in. Oh my god, that is just one of the best gags in the movie. And he's wearing his hat on top of you know, at first he's trying to talk to her like, let's just tell him we're together and everything. But then like once he hears that the dad is using the son as a battering ram, he's like, all right, I'm out of here. Oh my god. Like Frankie just has just lost it at this stage in his life, man. You know, like he knows somebody was in here and shit. He's looking everywhere. But that the fucking the head and the battering ram. That's what she just whipped a surfboard out the window, and she's like, "What was that?" I think I saw a thing, but I don't know what thing I think I thought I saw. Frankie wearing this leather hat is just, I didn't notice it when I was watching it high, but him wearing this leather hat is kind of a fucking trip. His son's leather hat on top of all that. Like, okay, he puts the hat back on him here. I didn't notice that. But this is one of those ones that like I never owned on physical media for like a long time. I actually found this on VHS in like a random like Goodwill. I was amazed when I fucking found this at Goodwill. I was like, holy shit, I have to buy this. And then I eventually had to upgrade it to DVD, but like I couldn't find it. You know, it was kind of a hard. Like I said, the cheapest one I found one time was like $40. You know, I eventually found it through the Warner Archive, Oh, excuse me, of all places. I got it for like 10 or 12 bucks or something. So now I have a physical copy of it. But like I said, I found it on YouTube and I was high as a kite, and I was like, oh, I have to watch this. You know. And now we're going to be introduced to the Surfer Gang, aka Z Town. See, here we're introduced to the leader here, and I just don't think, I don't know, something about this character just doesn't fucking work with me. You know, here we go, we got Big Boy again with the spike hair, no shirt. You know, again, he doesn't say anything, but like I think he has more of a presence than, you know. I love how he's talking about how sissy these boards are to a gang of fucking surfers, and just like, and he thinks it's okay. He's talking about their like, livelihood. The kid I like. The hair helmet. I love how they all have wild designs of hair, and Frankie's comeback is to be like, you want to talk about hair? You know, see, like the fucking guy's like eyes just like lit up, and that just said everything that you needed to say there. That guy in the background's great. This guy again, this guy knew he was going to be a background player, man, and he made the best of it, man. You know, this guy's wearing a shirt full of safety pins and shit. Like the fuck? I never noticed the safety pin thing till just now. Like holy shit, you know. Then he knocks over the board. What the fuck? Oh, such a great movie. I can't say that enough. It's so good. It's corny, it's a corny fucking movie, but it's really good. It's one of those ones you could really just throw on and like not have to worry about anything. You know, like I said, you get some nice little cameos in there, and we'll talk about those later. Because like I said, when I was watching it high, I was like, this fucking came out of nowhere. There's like no setup for it. There's like no like lead into it. Like it just fucking happens, and I was gobsmacked as to why it happened. And like that's when I fucking got the idea to do this. Like, why don't I do something where like, I don't have a live crowd, and I just get to talk about a certain movie, and commentate over it and everything. Maybe people will watch along, maybe they won't. Who knows? But and then I'll call it unnecessary commentary. You um, But I was just like, I'm not gonna release it until I have a few of them recorded. And like I said, this is the second one I'm recording right now. I have the first one put away. I have two more movies planned after this, maybe a third. And there are going to be some odd choices. I'm going to tell you, these unnecessary commentaries are really going to be unnecessary movies. On top of all that, if you really think about it, you know. All right, what's the name of this club? I forgot. Daddios, is that it? See, this guy is like one of the few people that gets his name right. The Big Kahuna, you know. All this guy. I couldn't hear the name of the drink because I'm watching this on a low volume, so like we don't get copyright or anything. Um, but he buys another drink and he was just like, I would like to buy you one of these. I saw somebody, drink one of these and dance on the table stark naked. She's like, why are you telling me this? Because I want to buy you two. See, this is one of them outfits where I'm just like, damn, Annette, get it. You looking kind of cute here, girl. You know. See, and he got this blonde haired, that perfectly coiffed fucking hair, the mesh shirt, the 80s mesh shirt too, on top of all that. Gold chain, gold necklace, gold bracelet, man. You fucking here looking fly. Oh, Troy, that's his name. What was I just watching earlier that had a Troy in it? Oh, fucking Blast from the Past. That's what it was. There was a Troy in that movie too. Wow, two movies in a row. We have a Troy character. Isn't that something? Ooh, Frankie came in and took his wife away. I like how it goes back to the girl who was just macking on, like, oh, where were we? Like, he saw a net and was just like, wait a minute, hold on. I got to get a piece of that. Hold on. Like, he was talking to one girl, saw a net and was just like, hold on, let me get you two of these drinks that makes girls dance naked on tables. Didn't work out, so he's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go back and talk to this girl. And here we go, Connie Stevens, who had the biggest crush on Frankie's character here. Um, Look at that big kiss on the lips, right in front of his wife. I'll give him credit because he was just like, "Whoa, you remember Annette, right? My wife, yeah." Like, got to give him credit there. And she is not happy, you know. And this becomes a plot point in this movie, you know. Um, and this is what keeps Frankie. They were heading to Hawaii, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were having a layover in Los Angeles, and they were going to stop to see the daughter, then head to Hawaii. That was the plan. But, you know, she has this shrine to him in this bar that I'm just like, okay, if that was in her house, it would be creepy. But because it's in a bar, it's a-okay, you know? Because she loved them so much. I do like the surfboard though, with the shark face on it and everything. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this. I'm not sure on this, but like Frankie's famous song "Venus." They couldn't get the full rights to it, so that's why he didn't sing it in this movie. I think that's the case. Don't quote me on that. I love how she cut out Annette's fucking head. You got him. You won. See now it's the roles are reversed. First it was Annette like, oh, let's go look at everybody, let's go say hi and everything. Frankie's like, no, let's just fucking go. Now the roles are reversed. He wants to stay, and she's like, let's get the fuck out of here. I just saw this woman kiss you on the lips right here in front of me. And here we go. He's gonna sing. See, that's why he does like, do you know Venus? And they're like, what? And he ends up singing. I don't know the name of the song to be honest. But like, this is how I was introduced to this song. The fucking, well, they walk and I walk and they shimmy and I shimmy. It's actually a pretty good version of this song. You know, I think I've heard other versions of this song, and I tend to go back and find this one. I tend to, maybe because it was the one I was introduced to, but I always like this version of the song. You know, look at him just getting into it, man. Like getting it for '80s. You know what I mean? Today this shit. Now west, where I belong. See, that's the shit right there. You know? And Annette just sitting there, fucking pissed. And I walk, and they shimmy, and I twist. It's a nice little musical number because like some of the Beach Blanket movies had these like I wouldn't say elaborate, but they had I love Bobby's look here, just the blank stare with the fucking blinking, so good. But like a lot of these Beach Blanket bingo movies had the fucking um the musical numbers and the dancing and everything. And this one I think has some pretty good musical numbers in it. There's a scene coming up that like sometimes if I get bored and I remember it, I'm like I'm gonna go watch that scene. We'll talk about it when it comes up and everything. Um, but this one right here, like I said, sometimes I'll think about this and I'm just like, man, I kind of want to hear this. You know. And then Connie comes on stage here, trying to get her some of see, Annette just, even her daughter's shocked now. Like, she did not do that. Mm. She's still trying to. She's trying to be the home wrecker without trying to be a home wrecker. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like, well, if he comes on to me, he came on to me. You know what I'm saying? I love that eye squint by Annette, like fucking like I'm gonna fucking end you. If you keep on with this bullshit, I'm gonna end you. See, there's that poke. Time flies when you're having fun. Don't say it. You know, like I said, their dynamic is really nice. Like I can see why they again, I've never seen anything else by him. It's the only thing I've ever seen with Frankie Avalon other than this is fucking Grease, and he's only in one fucking scene in the movie. You know, but saying they were from Ohio here. Oh, and that's putting her foot down. She's like, no, I'm staying here. I don't think so, homie. All right, sorry. Again, with these, I'm trying not to leave a lot of like pauses. Everything trying to keep the commentary going with the movie. You know? And there we go. Her parents have officially split up here. And Lori Loughran's character is home now. And her husband to be is there waiting for him. Tuna fish wearing my clothes now. Such a great line. You know. But now we have like the double plot going on because we're gonna have Frankie and Annette, splitting up for this movie, and then we're gonna have Lori Loughlin and her fiance splitting up too, and it's gonna be like a double love story, a double like get them back type of story here. Um, and then that's pretty much the story of the movie. It's like Frankie, trying to do stuff to win Annette back, but Annette just keeps getting the one up on Frankie. Um, and Lori Loughran's fiance here is along for the ride, essentially. There's a couple moments in here that are pretty good, but yeah, whenever I look at Lori Loughlin here, I'm just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Full House is only a couple of years off from here. When did Full House start? Like '89, but like she didn't show up until a couple of years in that show, right? As Rebecca, you know. Um, but like still, and I think, like I said, I'm gonna look her up now. Like, what does Lori Loughlin look like now? Because like I'm kind of curious. Lori Loughlin. Okay, yeah, she's still kind of close there. Yeah, she still kind of looks kind of close to what she looks like here. You can tell there's some age there, but still, age has done her well. Some people don't have that luxury of like, oh yeah, man, I still look good. But Lori Loughlin nailed one of them. You know. I think Bobby just dropped the fucking one liner. Like I think he said I'm gonna be an orphan. I think I should know that. Because sometimes this is like one of those movies that like if you were sick and like it came on, it would feel like a fucking fever dream. You would think like, did this movie really fucking happen? You would be sure. You wouldn't be sure. And here we go, Mr. Bob Denver. You know, as Gilligan. I love that. He was like, another drink, little buddy. Don't ever call me that. I love how he makes references to being off the island and obviously he's not referred to as Gilligan. He's referred to as bartender. You know, that's his like actual name in the credits is bartender. You know, and believe it or not, this would be the final movie that Bob Denver ever did. He would do some TV appearances later, up until his death. I think in like what 2000, I think 2002, something like that. But this right here, it just that's what really got me when I first watched this movie. I was like, "Fucking Gilligan's in this," because like I was into Gilligan's Island at the time. You know, Annette being like the ultimate optimist here. And just like her solution to this problem, like, what should we do? And she's just right away just jumps to fucking pajama party. You know? She's like, our lives are shattered. What should we do? And then boom, pajama party. And it just cuts to just a wild fucking pajama party. You know? You would expect there to be some pushback or something like that. And even Bobby's looking like, the fuck? He's outside the window and shit. You know? No, they're just dancing. See, look at Annette. See, look at that. I get it. I get it. In the 80s, man, I'm just like, okay. I get why Stand By Me was just like, all right, I dig Annette. You know? And here comes the surfer gang who happens to live next door. You know? And they're just like, all right, we're going to get us some ladies tonight. Here we go, man. They're getting in the groove and shit. Now they're doing the bunny hop. They're doing the bunny hop to like a song that I don't really think fits the bunny hop. Like, they're not doing the you know, the leader of the gang, like, trying to mac up Annette here. You know? Again, this is like a cute little moment I like. Just the gang trying to come over to the pajama party and mac on them. It's not working out. And then the leader just trying to dance with the mom and the daughter. So good. They're like, get the hell out of here. Oh, so good. We go back to Frankie drinking. This is where I got like a good Gilligan's Island joke from. I think like Gilligan's just like, you know what? I knew a guy that could take a couple of these and make a nuclear reactor, but he couldn't fix a 2 foot hole in a boat. Yep. Frankie's delivery of like, no, right there, just great, and it cuts away from it. There's like no follow up to it. It's just great. Like Gilligan's like, you want to hear about it? He's like, no. Again, man, I think we could have seen Frankie in some more fucking movies. You know, I think that would have been cool. Like some more like family comedies like this, where he just plays like a disgruntled fucking dad. You know, like he fucking just hates his life as a car salesman, just a overworked car salesman, and just has to go home and be dad. I think that would have been good. You know. And now the inevitable meeting of Frankie and the so-called fiance of his daughter are at a surf shack, I guess would be the correct term. I like how everybody's just freaking out. I think they're all like going out to surf. I think I don't know if they're surfing or lifeguards. I have no idea. They don't really make mention of it. Yeah, okay, yeah, they do. Man, I got to surf. That's what it was. You know. And this is a movie I don't really see like a lot of reviews about. You know, and if I do, they're usually like, eh. You know, that's usually the general review. Eh. It doesn't really pop up on a lot of radars, which I thought that is why this movie would be a perfect, you know, candidate for this little project I'm doing. You know, because not a lot of people really talk about it. You know, and there's probably a good reason for that. There's probably not a lot of people who could probably sit and talk about this fucking movie for an hour and a half. You know, but I used to look forward to this movie coming on cable. You know, because like I said, HBO Family, I discovered a lot of movies through the channel HBO Family. This being one of them, and of course, Ferris Bueller's Day Off was another one that I discovered through watching that channel and everything, and probably others if I sat and think about them. But I know those two for sure. I discovered through watching that channel, and like So I would look through, the guide and just be like, "Oh shit, is this coming on again? I got to watch it." You know. Um, and then this hangover cure. I'm kind of curious if this hangover cure actually works. You know. That's another thing I get from this movie. He's like, "Good morning." He's like, "Wrong." I use that sometimes, and of course nobody gets it. They'd be like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Wrong." you know that, or I like to use they're like, "Good morning." I'm like, "Morning, yes." "Good." "Wrong." Okay, so the hangover remedy looks to be Alka-Seltzer, aspirin, uh, Folgers coffee, and Coca-Cola. So I'm kind of curious if that shit. Oh no, Pepsi. I'm sorry, Pepsi. Apparently Keith Richards lives off of them. See that it looks like all foam. Well, I guess with the Alka Seltzer in there, that's what it's bound to be. And he chugs this whole fucking thing. Like I'm kind of curious how it would work, but like I don't really get hangovers, so I don't drink that much. So see this reaction here. Whoa! Oh god, his eyes went cross. I never noticed that. but he's like, it's a little pick me up. All it is fucking a spoonful of fucking coffee and Pepsi. With the medicine mixed in. Like I don't know. Maybe if you had a spoonful of coffee to your fucking soda, it might give you a little burst of energy there. And there he just revealed that he's the guy that's seeing his daughter. You know, Sandy, that's her fucking name. Now that we're getting deeper into this movie, I'm starting to see a little bit more green on it, but that's the charm of it. I do have a VHS player hooked up to this TV. I could have went old school and fucking watched it on VHS. How cool would that have been? But I kind of need the PS5 controller here just in case anything goes wrong with the recording. I can hit pause, start again. Not the whole movie. you know, this is a wild beach right here. This wide shot here of the beach. They had a surfing simulator. They had a pool. I love how like Bobby's fucking rebellious thing right here was to get this fucking tattoo, and they just think it's cute. You know. Now I gotta admit, Lori Loughlin in this scene right here. I gotta admit, man, she fucking. You gotta give it to her, man. You know. See, and Annette just fucking buried it right there. He was like, "I'm never washing off this tattoo." She's like, "Well, I think it's cute," and he's like, "Well, I'm out of here." You know. See, and that's somebody who can rock. There's some people who wear one piece bathing suits. You can't really fucking rock them. You know. Annette Funicello, man, she's somebody that can wear a fucking, campy '50s fucking one piece, man. Can fucking rock them. The one pieces with the little skirt and everything. Plus, you got the matching fucking bandana and shit and earring, man. She fucking rocks that shit, man. Oh, here we go. We're gonna get another scene with Troy. I love Troy's setup. I never that or I didn't remember, but like I love that he has a fucking microwave at his fucking beach setup. Like, oh, it's so good. You know, he's got a fucking microwave, a blender. He's got a fan. Like, oh my god, I never realized how much stuff was there. The microwave I just remembered, like the last time I watched it, but I never noticed the blender and the fan. The radio, that doesn't surprise me. Oh no, that's a fucking record player. Oh my god. I didn't realize that was a record player he had there. He's got a bottle of champagne and his Speedo. And the bottle of champagne went up his ass. That joke wouldn't fly today. She's like, you got a nice setup here. He's like, you have a nice setup. I love how he's pouring fucking milkshakes into like champagne glasses. He has a bottle of fucking champagne, but he's pouring like whatever this concoction in his fucking blender into the champagne glasses. Like, you know, yeah, he really knows how to court fucking Funicello here. See, he heard what happened at the bar and everything. He was there, so he's like, how's that husband of yours? I love how he introduced himself again. Like, he's already established that he's Troy, you know? So, I don't know. I guess maybe it was the official introduction, you know? She's like, I'm Annette, and he's like, I'm Troy. See, Troy trying to get it. I do like Annette's bangs. You know, they are pretty cute. Toodles. Oh, he said it too. Like, Toodles. He was there, though. That's the trick. See, look at Lachlan there. Whoo. Mm. Here we go. We're back at Daddy-O's, the bar here. A few different locations in this movie. Of course, the beach being one of them. Hence the title, Back to the Beach. You know. So now we're. Oh yeah, we find out that the Sandy's fiance, Connie's his mom. You know. Frankie thinking he's his son is pretty great. She's like, we never did anything. Like, and I love how the argument is just like she's mad that he can't remember if they fucked or not. You know? Calls him a square. Oh man. Sorry, I'm dragging right here. I'm kind of like stuck watching the movie, kind of like with Blast from the Past. You know. Here we go. I love how okay. Here's Bobby like showing these guys how to like light a cherry bomb and um leave it in a toilet and everything. This is a surfer gang. You would think they would have a pretty good grasp on this type of prank. You know, you would think they would know how to like light a cherry bomb and leave it in a toilet. And there's our man with the spiked hair. Again, his facial expressions are pretty great. You know, they match everything going on here. You know, doing some damage to an American Express car in the '80s is pretty good because back then they wasn't like an instant alert. You had to look them up in books and shit, find out if they were stolen. Now they're figuring out how to get the women back, and they're gonna convince them that they're having the time of their life without him and everything. But this is where one of his plans just tremendously backfires. But to be fair, Annette's first plan backfired too. Now here's the other scene that like I randomly go up and while she's just asking people like, do they know how to Jamaica ska? And then randomly this band just knows it. You know? But it's kind of catchy. It's a fucking catchy little tune here, man. I'll catch myself like fucking ska, ska, ska. You know? Gets the whole beach in on it. Dun, 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 Jamaica ska. It's like a little dance you know, and fucking Troy over there, man. He's gonna steal the show in this scene right here. Troy does his own little dance and everything. See, this is like one of those scenes where like you could show like yeah, Frankie sang earlier, and it's like, okay, Frankie still got it, and here's one where Annette sings, and it's like, okay, Annette still got it too. And I guess supposedly this takes place in the same day, does it? But like they're all wearing different clothing. Like she's wearing a whole new swimsuit, he's wearing something new. I don't know. I guess. Bow your head, swing your arms, do a dip. Oh no, shake your hips. I'm sorry. Then do a dip. There you go. That's how you Jamaica ska, people. If you're not watching along, that's you know, it's kind of the idea with these unnecessary commentaries that you watch the movie and watch along, so you can hear my commentary. And look at Troy. Troy just like dancing all the way down to the ground. And then you got my man on the sax here with that funky sax solo. Look at that, man. He even gets a speaking line. He gets a speaking line over the guy with the spike hair. But yeah, he went for it with that line there. And swing your arms. He went for it. Look at Troy right there. Look at he's on the ground. See, this is a scene that sometimes I'm just like, man, I kind of feel like watching it right now. So like I'll go watch the Jamaica ska scene. Everybody just leaves Frankie. They're like, you know what? That Jamaica ska just looks like a fucking cavalcade of fun. I'm just, And it's a simple song. It's not like it's one of those little catchy fucking ditties that get in your head and shit. Ska. Jamaica ska. Do, 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 do. It's a catchy little ditty. If you sit and watch this movie, don't be surprised if this one or the final song. The final song is another one that really gets stuck in my head sometimes. And just like that, Annette just took over the whole beach. Look at this cat doing backflips and shit. There's a dog. People playing steel drums and shit. There's an ice cream truck. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about the ice cream truck. But like, damn, she got the whole beach following her, and Frankie's just like, fuck. He's the one holdout on this little adventure that Annette just took everybody on. There's another dog right there. And I like how I don't know how long they've been there at this point. I don't think there's really a conception of time here, but I like how like he's already fucking just selling hot dogs on the beach. Like, how long have they been here at this point? I know they missed their flight to Hawaii, and they could leave at any time, which they kind of set up that, like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll just stay longer and have fun. But, like, damn, he's already resorted to selling hot dogs on the beach so he can, get by. He finds out his daughter's fiance here just designed surfboards just to give them away, just so people can have cool surfboards. And talks him into selling them for profit. And the differences between surfboards then and at the time now. About how big boards were and everything. Like surfing around on a coffee table, as he said. I don't know whatever happened to this cat. I think Tommy Hinckley, was that his name? Let me look it up again. Hold on. What was his name? I know I said it earlier, but where is it? Yeah, Tommy Hinckley. Yeah. Oh wow, this guy. Man, if you look him up, man, he's got some gray hair, gray beard. Apparently, he didn't do a lot of movies. Apparently, he was in the movie Leatherheads that George Clooney directed. Apparently, did a lot of TV shows. Oh, he did Ocean's 13 as well. But he typically stuck to TV after Back to the Beach here. Oh, he was in an episode of that 70s show. Alright. So, I don't know. I always thought he was pretty funny in this. He has some of his deliveries, I think, are pretty cool. Like the way he says, trust me, earlier, I thought was pretty good. Like, trust me. I don't know. Something about that I always like. There we go. We're back at Daddy O's again. Again, the last time I watched this, I was high, so I I honestly don't remember what's coming next here because we're back at Daddy-O's and I don't remember why. Is it because no, no, I don't know. We're just watching the band play and people dance right now. Oh, I think this is the setup for the party. Yep, that's what it is. Yeah, they're trying to set up for a party to get all the girls to come and everything, and we're about to see what's his name. Um, no, sorry. What's his name? No, not Todd Bryant. Where's his name? Oh, Stevie Ray Vaughan is in this movie. Okay. Uh, trying to find the name. Hold on. He's only in it for like a few minutes. Is it Don? No, not Don Adams. Bob Denver, Tony Dow, Alan Hale, Paul Rubens, Jerry Mathers. I don't know. I can't remember his name off the top of the moment, but he plays like a sea captain type of character. Missed it by that much. That's what he says. Who plays and Get Smart? Who's that guy? Uh, Don Adams. Yep, that's who it is. Don Adams. Yep. Missed it by that much. You know, he has a cameo in this movie. Uh, yep, there he is, right there, Mr. Don Adams. You know, or maybe not, because I'm not seeing it on his filmography here. Oh, yep, there it is. Harbor Master. That's his name. And he even says the famous like missed it by that much. No, it's the captain of the love boat. He even has that Get Smart voice on when um when he talks. You know, like that missed it by that much, which he sneaks in here because they go in here to try and schmooze him so they could throw a party on the beach because you need a party license apparently to throw a party on the beach in this movie. I bought this for $1 from a 9-year-old girl, which is great. Yeah. Um. So yeah, they're trying to get a party permit so they can get all the girls to come and button up everything here. Um. So he can get his fiance back. Frankie can get a net back. That's what they're mainly going for here. What about a broken oar? I wonder why he's so against parties. Like that's my question here. Like what happened in his past that he's just like, fuck it. No more parties. Don't come in here and ask for a party permit. I'm not gonna approve it. Go fuck yourself. You know? There's the line. Missed it by that much. And I like how he believes them that like this party is for him, even though that you can tell that they're clearly bullshitting him. You know? I guess he just had that hope, like, maybe if I show up they will give me a trophy and a party. You know? Look at that. Man, look at that fucking I never noticed that ramp on the lifeguard station, man. That shit was bouncing, boy. Man. They were gonna go down, they were gonna go down with that motherfucker. See right here, she's like, "How come they had a party and didn't invite us?" And that's like, "This party is for us, fucker." Yep, see there it is. Now I will say, like again, this is not a movie that's like a cinematic classic by any stretch of the imagination. But like I said before, this is just it's a harmless movie. It's not a movie that's gonna go out there and offend anybody. It's not gonna insult your intelligence. Well, maybe one scene will, but like still, I mean, like this is just good harmless fun. It's a good way to kill an hour and a half, hour 20 minutes, whatever you got on your schedule. You know, so all right, now Michael and Sandy are meeting up for the first time in a while, and he finally gets to meet Annette. You know, so she finds out he's now selling surfboards instead of giving them away. And I like how she's like trying to be a little bit condescending about it at first. Like, no, you make surfboards. And she's like, no, I sell them now. So, yeah, right, yeah. Like, hey, I sold 7 of them, bitch. You know, like, he didn't say bitch, but, you know, in a way, he kind of wants to. And that's like, you know what? I need to leave you two alone now. I should get the fuck out of here. You know? See, she's like, I'm moving out. How fucking long have they been here? Like exactly, like how long have they been here at this point? Because like again, fucking Frankie's selling hot dogs, fucking teaching him business. She's like, I'm moving out. You know, not like, hey, I'm gonna go stay at a hotel and I'm moving out. How fuck long has she been staying there? How long has Frankie and the kid been here? The kid's been in a gang at this point. Like what the hell, man? You know. Here we go. It seems like Frankie's trying to schmooze up Connie here, but it's not the case, you know. And there, here we go. We get the old rom com misconception here. You know, Frankie hugging Connie, and that's like the fuck. She's like, all right, where's homeboy at? Where's Troy? I love that. I love how she's wearing a fucking sweater on the beach, and like her move is to pull her fucking shoulder down to expose her shoulder to Troy. Troy, who is also wearing a ridiculous outfit for the fucking beach. You know, wearing pants and a fucking suit and just what the hell. And I love how he has a TV at his setup now. Just this guy is just he would have been a kooky character for a fucking movie, wouldn't he? But now she's trying to use Troy to get Frankie jealous here. See, I love it. Do you ever shut up? You know. And here's something that's kind of wacky. Like they're in full garb right here, like full, you know, the suit, the sweater, the jacket, everything. She's like, "Do you surf?" And she's like, "Come on." And they, okay, now right now it kind of makes sense because here's the harbor master, and he's like, "Where's my party?" You know, which is another great gag. You know, what ceremony? You know, like Harbor Master's upset that like fucking there's no party for him and everything, but like all it takes is just a pretty young girl, and he's just like, you know what? Okay, they could have just ran with that from the start. Like we'll hook you up, and he's like, okay, cool. You know, but see, right now there's a long enough period for like Annette and Homeboy to get like changed into bathing suits, but like later on, there is not enough time for them to get changed back. You know, you'll see here. See, look, he brings over the girl. This helps. I love that she sounds like she has asthma. She's got asthma. I love how that's all it took. Just a fucking pretty girl. And he's like, what the hell? There we go. Just a full body bathing suits on top of all that. You know? Both of them, Troy and Annette, just full body bodysuits. Troy in all gold, Annette pink. Stupid joke, him looking up the bathing suit skirt. You know? And like right here, they come onto the beach and they're still wearing the bathing suits. And I think Frankie disappears, and like in a split second, we see them wearing like their full garb again. And it's just like, what the hell? When did y'all have time to change? You know, like there's no way you had that much time to change. You know. You should know what it means when I burn stuff. Like, that's another great line. You know, I want to talk to you. I don't think the lady wants to go with you. I love the tiger stripes on his. He's like, oh yeah, his shoes are untied. You know the funny thing? He's not even wearing shoes. I love that. You are so stupid. Everybody goes, oh, like that's the big insult. See right here. I think it's it right here. Yep, there you go. Like the next scene, she's like going to talk to Connie, and she's already fucking changed back into her sweater, her little hair bow that she was wearing. Like she had no fucking time to get changed like that. There's no fucking way in hell, you know. Like she was just like, "You're so stupid," and walked away. And next thing we see, she is like making a beeline towards Connie, and like she is in the full getup again. Like what the hell? And then Connie convincing her that Frankie loves her. You know. Oh, and a cursing in a Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello movie. Get your ass over there. You know. And believe it or not, you know them reconciling is not the end game here. You know, we still have a surfing contest to get to. You know, this is where they get back together here. That I think, yeah, something else is about to happen. I forgot about that. No winners, no losers. And there's another. Oh wait, this is the part that like just doesn't make. Here's Frankie and Annette just they're getting their shit back together. You know, here they go. They hug and kiss and like, aw, like, even the whole beach, aw, like, and then all of a sudden, fucking Pee Wee Herman shows up. He shows up to sing surfing board by the trash man for no fucking reason. Like, there's no setup for this. Like, I mean, I don't hate it. It's just really, like, as a kid, it's just like, cool, Pee Wee Herman's in the movie. But, like, growing up watching movies and shit, it's just like, why? Like, there's no setup for it. It's not like oh, Pee Wee Herman's gonna come to our party. It's he just fucking shows up on a surfboard with handlebars on top of all that. You know, and nobody reacts to it. On top of all that, it's not like holy shit, Pee Wee Herman is here. He just shows up and like automatically they give him the stage. I guess if Pee Wee Herman showed up at a party, I guess you would give him the stage. You know, and he does the bird is the word, aka surfing bird by the Trashman. Um, and when I was watching this high, I'm just like, what the fuck? There's no way that he just shows up and then just disappears the way he does. I don't know this part right here, and he's like on the fucking DVD cover. He's on the VHS box cover. I'm. Does he have a list? Does he have a credit on the back of this thing too? He does not. Yeah, okay, just Frankie, Annette. Yeah, okay, just okay. I was like, I think he even has a fucking credit, you know. Um, and again, I don't mind Pee Wee Herman. It's not that I have anything against him. It's just that, like it's so out of nowhere. It just seemed like Pee Wee Herman wanted to be in this movie, and they're just like, hey, we'll shoehorn him in somewhere. Let me get a nice little trio here of Annette, Frankie, and Pee Wee. And then the way he leaves on the surfboard he came in with the handlebars and gets zapped by lightning. There's Troy already back in his getup too, but he's actually had time to get back in his clothes after being knocked out and shit, you know? But this is like the only part of this movie where I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, a little bit of setup would have been nice. Like, he just shows up to him, and one thing they're like, who's that? You're just, give me a fucking who's that? You know, who's that? That's Pee Wee Herman. Oh, like, okay. Like, give me something. Like, it's literally like Frankie and Annette make up, and it's like, oh, like, okay, nothing to see here. And then fucking Pee Wee shows up. Like, okay, I guess. You know? Then he just, yeah, he's just saying surf terms now. Tubular. Bitchin', you know. I don't know. So yeah, he just zapped by lightning and surfs into the fucking sky. Okay. And then everybody just sits around the fucking campfire so Frankie can tell his accident story. What a weird fucking moment that movie had. I could literally recut this movie without that scene, and the movie would still fucking work. It is just, I don't know. It's always been like a very bizarre. As a kid, it didn't bother me. Like watching it as an adult, it's just like that part fucking bothers me, you know, because I'm just like it's just so out of nowhere. Um, but now we're gonna find out about the humunga cowabunga from down under. You know, here it is. I, I think they just wanted three things that rhymed, but like I think they could have called it the humunga from down under and still got their point across. But again, I think this movie's point was to be a little bit over exaggerative, if that's a word. Um, but we find out why Frankie hasn't surfed, or the big kahuna, whatever, why he hasn't surfed in years. It was because of this giant wave that knocked him on his ass, essentially, you know, which sets up the ending here. You know, the final act, I should say. You know, you would think Frankie and Annette getting together. Hell, in a way, you could kind of fucking end it at um, Frankie and Annette getting together and like fucking like, oh, thanks guys, and like fucking the end. You could technically end the movie there and you got something, you know. But then you had Pee Wee come in and you know, there's a couple little side gags that kind of work. You know, we get another Gilligan gag again and a couple of other things and a closing song. You know, and here comes the gang again. This time Bobby's in charge. Well, I wouldn't say he's in charge. He's like a full blown member at there. Because again, I don't know. Judging from the timeline, they've lived here like fucking 7 months now. I don't know. Yeah, because now Bobby's speaking for him and everything. He's like, my gang name's Surly. They think it's all Shirley. Was this before or after Naked Gun? And you get the new gang name, which is Knife. They all think it's nice. See, there's a guy with the spike haircut, like shaking his head. See, he's so good in the background. That is one thing I noticed when I was high was this guy in the background, and he's so good at it. You know. See, there's this growl that he did. See, there must have been a lot of money on that credit card if they bought like, well, it was the '80s. So I mean, they could. I think they could logistically buy fucking four wheelers with an American Express Gold card. I don't know because don't a lot of didn't a lot of places like not take American Express back then. It's still kind of the deal. I have a doctor's office that doesn't take American Express. And here we go. They're setting up the surf contest. Now, here's another question I have about this movie, and that is like they're setting up this surf contest right now at night at this party, and they're gonna compete for the beach. You know, Now again, this party's at night, and they're like, we're gonna do this tomorrow morning. Who's our best guy? You. Oh yeah, that's right. See, tomorrow morning, dude. And there's the grease lightning moment, so to speak. You know, where they take out, you know, homeboy so he can't surf. But like here's the thing here. Hold on. Let me wait for the cut here. Breaks a split with a bongo. Okay, so now it's the next morning. They've already set up like the surf off. They have announcers played by Jerry Mathers. Um, there's that Diet Pepsi can again. I love it. But like they already got announcers, and this has to be less than fucking 12 hours. It couldn't be more because, like I said, they were just at a party at night, and a lot of shit happened at this party. Fucking Pee Wee Herman showed up and sang a song, and so when they made the surf contest, they're like tomorrow morning. They had to have less than 12 fucking hours to set this up. So they already had like a big banner printed. They got in announcers. They got a host. Like unreal how fast they set this up. You know. I do like the entrance they came up with though. They all rode in on their fucking jet skis and shit. You know that was kind of a cool. It was kind of a cool entrance if you really think about it. You know. Like instead of just walking onto the beach, they showed up early to get in the water, and once they needed to arrive, they show up on jet skis. Pretty cool. Lazy and disrespectful, which I think Breakfast Club came out before this, so I like to think he stole that line from Breakfast Club, or they whoever wrote this. Robin. Again, the way he says that is just, yeah, there it is. Just the way he said Robin. And then here it is, the return of the Big Kahuna. See, and that little pink and black polka dot one, that's another one. I'm just like, okay, Annette, okay. And I like how Gilligan is all of a sudden part of the gang. Like, he had that one scene at the bar where Frankie obviously did not fucking want to talk to him, but now he's all of a sudden part of the gang. You know, it's him, Annette, Connie. You know, so the surfboard at the pier. There's our spikehead guy right there, hamming it up. And Annette scaring him and shit. Oh, so good. See, and I like how even Gilligan knows this little spiel that he's about to say. You know, and again, Gilligan just met this guy because even Gilligan makes reference to like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've been here. And here we go. The surf contest begins. Why did she need to shoot a gun for a surf contest? You know, that's usually for track and field, but all right, I guess. You know. But I wonder how like long it was to shoot this. That that's when she discovered she had the multiple sclerosis, Annette. You know. I remember seeing the Annette Funicello story. I think on like CBS or some shit. I don't know. See, look at Lori Loughlin in here too. Boy, whew, boy, howdy. I think she's putting in an earring. Yeah, I think her earring dropped and she just put it up. You know, put it on. You know, like I was just so fucking like he's trying to hype him up, but then he just ends it with, and by the way, I'll raise Bobby as my own son. You know, because believe it or not, I mean, well, obviously, I wouldn't say believe it or not, but obviously, I didn't grow up with the original Mickey Mouse Club. You know, I always heard about it. I grew up with like the new Mickey Mouse Club. You know, when I had it, but like I had no idea like Brittany and Justin and all those guys would come from it. There's our spike haired guy again. He's so good. I mean I always noticed them in the movie, but like I think like when I watched it high, you know, I tend to get you know really into shit when I'm high, and that's when I really noticed them, really hamming it up in the background and shit. You know, again because that's how this idea. Look at Lori Loughlin. Good God. Um, you know, because like I said, I was watching this movie and like I said, the Pee Wee Herman thing came out of nowhere, and I'm just like, why does nobody ever talk about this? You know, and I'm just like, you know, this could be a good little idea I have here. You know, so but I was like, I don't want to. And you know, I mentioned this on one of my lives. Like the original end game for this was to debut this on OnlyFans. Um, but I didn't think anybody was going to pay for it, so you know, eventually when you see this, it'll probably be free on YouTube, I'm sure. You know, because nobody wants to pay me for nothing. Um, but you know, so that was the original like. Well, like when I first had this idea, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do sit and watch a movie, talk about it, talk over it. You know, have it where people can watch along if they want, or if they don't, you know, they can just listen to it. But uh, I was like, you know, and then at the end, you know, I'll put it on OnlyFans and have them pay for it. But uh, I was like, no one's gonna pay for it. So, but I'm still gonna wait till I have like 40s in the can. So whenever you're hearing this, that's when I have them ready. So and here we go. Got more surfing. You know that I know this is kind of off the beaten path here for this movie, but there's a video game called Kelly Slater's Pro Surfing, which they tried to make the new Tony Hawk, and they only did the one game, but I always kind of wanted to play it just to see what it was like. You know, just looking at this crowd and just Gilligan standing there all of a sudden is just. I mean, it makes sense for the setup for like one of the final jokes in the movie, but like it's just really weird how Gilligan shows up for that one scene, and then like doesn't show up again. Not at the party. He wasn't at the big party or anything, but then he shows up for like the final scene. You know, and then lo and behold, the humunga cowabunga from down under shows up again. Can Frankie survive it this time? Even the gang leader, even the gang leader's just like, you got to get out of here, bro. And I like this delivery here from Frankie. The holy shit! Seeing like the the gang leader was just like, dude, come in. You see the spike hair guy like do his hands like, come on, come in. You know, like again, he makes the best of his fucking. You know, he is the unsung hero of this fucking movie. Let's just say it. You know, and here he goes surfing the fucking wave, the exaggeration. that's about to happen here is fucking hysterical. But you see him, he's sucked into the wave. Cowabunga! Ooh. Ah. But like right here, here we go. Now we get the exaggeration, you know, just the wave. Like he's got it and everything. But when the guy jumps up and asks for his autograph, that's the fucking one for me. Or I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me, right? You know? Like these waves that he's, it's obviously a green screen, obviously, but you know, but it's just so fucking elaborate. Shaving that, oh god, I forgot about the shave one. Fucking putting off the damn surfboard. Here it is, the autograph. Guy climbs up, signs his autograph, and then dives in. And god, so good. Again, some of the over exaggeration jokes. Fucking Troy. What a guy! I could have done that. Oh, just looking at that Diet Pepsi again. I wish they'd bring those back. With the lines and everything. That's what does it for me. Kahuna! Yeah, whatever. I guess they only had Gilligan for certain days, man. They're just like, all right, you're going to be here this day. Fucking, we're going to put you front and center, bro. And then the son goes for the hair helmet instead of the gang thing. And I like how the gang leader just all of a sudden changes his ways. He's like, that was so cool, I'm not going to be a gang leader anymore. You know? And this song right here, this is actually kind of catchy right here. This is actually a pretty good one, too. This is one that, like, I'd wake up some mornings, I'd have this stuck in my head and everything, because it's kind of a catchy little song here. So you got Troy and the gang leader in the background singers and shit now. See, I like this song. This is kind of catchy. Action. I mean, because you got to understand, like, the 60s were only, like, what, 20 years, you know, old at this point? And, like, you got to say, Frankie and Annette still had it at this point. You know? We go on and on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the gang leader here. He's getting. Here we go. The girl that was with the harbor master earlier is now hitting it off with Gilligan. And again and again. And then Bobby popping on the fucking. And again and again. Sorry, I just got caught up watching it there because it's such a cute little scene here. Because it's a catchy little song. I like this song. Especially with Frankie and Annette and everything. Does Lori sing? And then there we go. He finally got the ring for her. There we go. And I love how Gilligan was able to tell her whole story within like fucking 45 seconds. And then there he is, the skipper. You not now. Never a 3-hour tour. Here's the thing, like he drags Gilligan off for another 3-hour tour. Why didn't he just bring her with him? Like, wouldn't that just been an easy solution to this problem? Like, he just met a girl and everything, and like, couldn't he have just brought her with him? You know? I like that line. Are we the corniest couple you've ever seen, or what? All right, so there it is. That's Back to the Beach for you. See there, Don Adams as the harbor master, Barbara Billingsley as the announcer, Ed Burns as the valet. I don't know who Ed Burns is. Bob Denver as the see he's credited as the bartender. Tony Dow as Judge One and Jerry Matthews as a Judge Two there. But yeah, there you have it. That's Back to the Beach. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode here. Um, Hopefully you guys are enjoying necessary commentary. So if you are listening to this episode, then hopefully episode one did well. So yeah, until the next episode, guys. Thank you guys for listening. So until next time, be breezy.